first chance. Hold on. Let's see. Hey, everybody. I want to welcome you today. This is my first time going on live to see how we're going to do this. And we're going to start doing a little bit of live things and introduce some concepts. I need to figure out this YouTube stuff. I'm going to just kind of ask if you do ever check into this, hit that thumbs up button, and we'll go from there. But right now, I was hoping to figure out how I can turn around, introduce this stuff, bring people to a show that can we can start some chat and share some interesting concepts. You know, I was gonna, if I can figure out this YouTube stuff, we will remember how to introduce some slideshows, and I just want to teach. I just want to bring this stuff to you. I see we got 3 thumbs up already. I don't know who's out there. If you can hit that live chat and say something, then I know that you're out there. And go from there. We want to do this, keep it short today until I figure out how to do all this stuff and be able to just bring some concepts here. You know, I don't know how to use the YouTube. We're having trouble with 412 today. I'm being able to go live, and I just want to be able to start something that makes sense to you. I see that there's actually a couple thumbs up. I see that people are seeing that, and I say good morning, hi. And if I could figure out how to share on this thing, I would definitely do it. There's definitely a problem with my aspects of bringing things live at some point. Thank you, Sunflower. Much love to you as well. One of the things we always want to do is bring it back to the concepts that we have to teach. Bring it back to introducing, Dr. Kerry Reams. He was just an amazing person. He turned around and he was a mathematical genius who just honestly, he tried to teach the medical system something that just isn't out there. And people turn around and they give me these credits and they say, hey, Doc, you've got this down. And I don't. I'm sitting here trying to figure out. You can see with my ineptness on running a show here, and just trying to figure this out today, going live, seeing what it does, seeing what I'm looking at on a screen, just trying to get a feel for this aspect, and being able to bring things to introduce these concepts on a day-to-day. As I get a set of numbers, I can bring them to you, I can show you some things, and just try to make this more practical. The running the numbers when you're doing them, it's simple. If you go through, at some point, I'll figure out how to paste these videos and how to bring these things on there. And if you run the numbers, it's really not a difficult thing to do. It takes really, 5 minutes of time, but you got to wait about 8 minutes because you got to set up those nitrates to run. And but once you get them going and you learn how to run those numbers, thank you. Once you get those numbers up and running, you're what do I do with these? And so I've gone many times and I've put boards up, and I have a whiteboard ad. I have a whiteboard over here that I've kind of run some numbers on before with this lady had a stroke, and I told you guys about that. Last week we did a show with 412 that specifically talked about we had a guest that came on, and she just told her history with chronic myelocytic leukemia, and it's just an amazing story, And what we're talking about, in all honesty, is truth. There's an aspect of your body heals itself, and that is the basic tenet of naturopathic medicine. When you're looking at naturopathic medicine, you are looking at a system that recognizes that your health restores. There's the vis medicatrix naturae, that the body heals itself. The tolle causum, to identify the cause. The tolle totem, to treat the whole person. The docere, the doctor as a teacher. The goal in natural medicine is to teach you, and that's why we try to do these shows. If I can equip you and teach you how to take on this simple test, what I find from many people who come on and try to learn this, they think that they've got to do some type of chemistry aspect, that they got to go online or how do I do this? Oh my God, running chemistry, this is way over my head. I can't, and it really is not that difficult. It's there's a short video on my channel. If you looked at my channel later on, there's these little whiteboard ads, and I don't know how. Again, at this point, I will figure out how to upload video streams and how to do these type of things. And I have another assistant who's going to kind of join me on these. I'm going to keep it short mostly today. I like to see those thumbs up. I appreciate it, because if I'm going to start doing these, I'll need your support, and know that you guys are out there. Again, you guys, Paisley Sunflower, DK Bradbury 51. I thank you for tuning in. And for something specific, I'm more than happy to answer questions this morning. I have a few minutes. Again, we couldn't get the show going on 412 show this morning, and so I want to turn around and be able to, again, bring little tidbits. And what I want to do is, what do you need? What are you asking for? How can I best serve you? How can I give you something that takes you from this basic step to saying, okay, not only do you kind of make sense, Doc, with what you're teaching, but there's an aspect of where you turn around and you are helping me to make those steps. So, one of the things when I'm looking at and working with clients is trying to outline, what do I do versus what do you do? That's huge, because it's not a matter of you turning around and coming here and me saying, here, do this, and you getting better. I lay out a path, but you are responsible for that. You are the one who has to make the choices. You are the one that has to believe in yourself and believe what the potential is, because there's such a mindset that goes into healing and alone. When you're turning around and you're looking at that aspect of belief and that mental emotional component. And we never talk about that in the numbers. A little bit we might, because you can see when the numbers are going too slow and you see those pHs get up and the body's slowing down, something's happening. It's like, what is the body holding on to? Why am I doing this? What do I need to do? Or what am I not able to get rid of? Because the bowels slow down and you get foggy brain and the headaches in the back and all those liver symptoms and just this general blah, and we see this auto intoxication where the body is not able to eliminate very well. And you just turn around and, you have to ask, is there a mental emotional component? Does belief make a difference? I mean, in the Bible, the story where Christ is walking down and all these people are, trying to get to him. And the lady says, hey, if I can just touch his cloak, I'll be healed. And she did. And Christ says, hey, who touched me? And the disciples are like, everybody's touching you. What are you talking about? And she says, no, I felt, basically he probably felt just energy leaving from him, right? Because everything is energy, because that's what we talk about on this show. And so when you're looking at that aspects of belief, if I can just touch his cloak, what do you believe about your health? Do you believe that your life sucks? Do you believe that, oh my God, I got to go to work. Oh, I can't pay my bills and there's no way I'm going to get the money, or whatever it is? The more thoughts that you bring in on that negative, that negative template, the more negative templates you're going to get in your life. That's just part of it. And life is good, people. God is everywhere. There's infinitely more good than there is bad in this world. And I hope to shed a little bit of light on that, I just turn around and I just be thankful. You talk about, I could turn around and talk about biblical aspects and you look at that. What's the golden rule? We want others. The golden rule is to treat others as you want to be treated, or to love others as you want to be loved. So how do you love yourself? What are you doing for yourself? How are you incorporating your personal, what are you doing for you? Because a lot of us, I don't know if you're like me, like if somebody needs help, how can I do it? I'm very easy to take advantage of if you know me. You could turn around and find that if you are asking for help, I'm not going to walk away from you. That's just the way that I am, and I don't know why. And I have been taken advantage of so many times in my life. It's not even funny. And so you got to find out, who are you, and that's one of the aspects of what I want to bring to this channel is not only, looking at these numbers and understanding the tenets of what Carrie Reams did for us is amazing, people. It is truly amazing. He taught us to understand energy. He taught us to understand the efficiency of our body and how our bodies work and what systems are needed and what those systems need. He taught us the importance of, what we are made of. We're minerals, we're soil. Our body is made of soil. And if you break it down, hey, there's two creations in the Bible. God created Adam, right? All right. In what? His own image. So is God this physical kind of, hey, this is who I am? Probably, he's in and of all things. He's everywhere. He's the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, the end. And so I love that book by David Wilcox, the aspect of, what's it called? I'm blanking on the book. But it's seeking, wow, can't think of the name, but he turns around and he's seeking the energy of of everything. And there's an energy, like when you look at the stars, there's a measurable energy from a star that you can see that's specifically coming to you at that moment. There's energy everywhere. And, God is in and of all things, beginning and the end. He is in you. So perfect is in you. That's when you're looking at this chemistry. And I turn around like before, I gave you guys an example last time. I hope, yep, this looks like it's right. I gave you an example of what perfect chemistry is. A sugars of 1.5, pHs of 6.4 over 6.4. And that's what we consider neutral. When you're looking at the aspects of, pH and chemistry, we're taught that 7.0 is neutral, but 7.0, what Reams taught is that it's a measure of resistance. So the higher the number, the more resistance that's going through. And so if you have increased resistance, things slow down, So when you're looking at 6.4 over 6.4, and we're saying that's acidic, what it is for biological systems, 6.4 is the perfect pH. Check your dog, catch some pH. If it's too acidic, too alkaline, you can know whether your food is right for that dog, or even yourself. It's a matter of learning. This aspect of learning this chemistry is you taking on and loving you to say, who am I? Where am I? And what do I need to do? And this chemistry just tells you that. So the pHs, urine over the saliva, give an idea of pre-digestive of the saliva and post-digestive and how fast things are moving through the body. 6.5 conductivity, the ability of energy to go to point A to point B. That's huge, people. That when people have high salts, we've talked about that sea salt. We've talked about these things that say that, the nerves get irritated, like static electricity, inside your body. And it just sits there and breaks down nerves and causes nervousness, causes numbness, tingling, causes inappropriate firing of nerves. These people who, shaking all the time. You look at the cell debris, tells how the kidneys are able to get rid of bad cells. You got to detox. And these nitrates over ammonium nitrates give an idea of protein building versus protein breakdown. So I gave an example a couple of weeks ago. A 73-year-old lady, female, came in. She's 5'1", 180 pounds. She's retired. And these were her numbers, 4.9 sugar. Where is that? Way too high. So when the sugars go high, sugars go low. What do you see? Decreased oxygen availability. When you see inability to think, inability to focus, lack of oxygen being available. So sore, tired, achy people. When you look at a pH of 5.25 on the urine, things are going too fast, way too fast. But the pH is 7.73. Oh my God, the digestive juices, that's, is telling me they're way too sluggish. They just can't do what they need to do. And so what you see is this person's not able to pull the minerals out. And I've talked about the aspect of pH that gives a guide of mineral availability. So when you see that the pH is only 5.25, anything below 5.4, your trace minerals are not available on an electrochemical level. So, you know, this person's not getting their nutrients. Their digestion is just way too sluggish. But these numbers point, if you remember, you know, north or south on the body when you're looking at the aspects of pH. So this is like a y-axis. 7.73, you're getting up here. Okay. Oh my God, there's something in the head. When I see above 7.5, I'm asking about brain symptoms. And then you come out here and these nitrates point right over left side of the body and that opposite side of the brain. So left side of the body, right side of the brain. So I asked this lady, hey, right side of the brain, you know, it kind of points that you have something going on up here. And she said, well, that's funny because I had a stroke 3 months ago and it's right exactly where you pointed. And so that's the awesome aspect of what these numbers are doing. You know, they're giving us a picture. She's, you know, so she had loose stools. She had dry skin because vitamin A, minerals aren't available. Liver can't handle it. She's having congestive headaches, can't think clearly. She's sore, tired, achy, high conductivity, feeling that numbness, feeling that achiness, you know, cell debris. She's holding water weight. Her kidneys are trying to get rid of things. And these nitrates, particularly that bottom number right there, that ammonia nitrate is toxic to the body. And so you turn around and you see that the heart pounds. Oh, and so if the heart's working all night long, she's waking up tired. She doesn't feel like getting out of bed in the morning. And so that's huge, people. So you turn around and these numbers are just giving us a picture. So I want to figure out what I can do to serve you guys. You know, I'm looking here. You are who you are, and that's a wonderful thing. No matter what happens, God guidance never fails us. Amen to that. You know, God is good, people. He is so good. And there are aspects of what, you know, I hope to be able to share with you that just is something that you just don't get in the traditional media. You know, I find that, you know, what we see is, hey, I'm tired, so let's feed your adrenal glands, or let's look at your thyroid. You know, that lady right there, 5'1", 180 pounds, and you see such a high pH. You know, you see such a high weight for her height, and so you're like, okay, something's sluggish. She's holding weight, and so you got to look at that thyroid. Well, whenever you see high pHs above 6.8, usually you see a potassium deficiency. So this lady had already started some supplements. And so she wasn't quite potassium deficient with her nitrates being at 18. But I want to go over all these things, and we want to make sure that these numbers are out there. I'm going to tell you, people, just flat out, when I do these shows, this chat on the side, oh my God, it's like, to me, it's like squirrel, you know, I just get lost in it. And so if I turn around and I take a moment, I have to read over here, and you guys turn around and are thanking me, I'm glad you're out there. You know, I'm going to try to start doing so. If we have WTPI and he's not able to meet on the show, I'm going to start doing some short shows. Like last week, I don't know how many of you saw the interview that we did on WTPI. And if you go back and watch that show from last week, I think it's still on his channel. I haven't uploaded it to my channel yet. It's incredible. It's like, you know, this young lady had chronic myelocytic leukemia, and in her first, she tells a story of the first year that it took her. Yeah, the interview with Casey was phenomenal. It totally was. And the first time that we went through, it took a year for her CML to get into remission, and then she was able to have children, which she didn't know that she could do. And then she had a child. She was breastfeeding. And her numbers went all haywire. And I'm like, you got to go get them checked out. Full blown, you know, CML, chronic myelocytic leukemia. She had 125,000 white blood cells. And then she turned around, and in 2 weeks, you know, she used the medication to start knocking out the white blood cells. But all she did was run her numbers daily, eat based upon her numbers, take her supplements based upon her numbers, hone those numbers in. And 2 weeks later, everything was gone. And the doctors were like, oh my God, I don't know what just happened, but we want you to keep taking this chemo. And she's like, I'm not taking that chemo. You're not sitting here convincing me that I need it because my blood's normal. How can you justify me taking that at this point? And she became empowered, people. If you look at understanding what these do, it's empowering. You know, I want to look at DK Bradbury. You know, I like coffee in the morning for a pick-me-up. What do you think about coffee? Well, I don't know. I hate to be a hypocrite, but I will say that there is a time and a place. Coffee has some acids that definitely have a moving on the bowel effect. Coffee stimulates the liver. I have looked at the blood typing diet, and he looks at lectins and lectin interactions. And when certain lectins are incompatible with the blood, they say, hey, it causes that blood agglutination, like kind of a little bit what you see behind me on that screen. And so, but type O blood is not supposed to have coffee. Type A, hey, that's me. Coffee is supposedly okay and does well for. So I'm not going to turn around. Even Dr. Carrie Reams was an advocate for a little bit of coffee. I just noticed Linda putting a little baking soda in the coffee. I don't know if Dr. Reams's daughter, Laverne Reams, talks about that. A little pinch of baking soda neutralizes it. Great thing to do in wine also. Those of you drinking wine, you could put a pinch of baking soda in there to neutralize some of the tannins and the things that are in there. And it's a great way to turn around and not to sit there and advocate drinking wine on a regular basis, because alcohol is the enemy of oxygen, by the way. It definitely depletes oxygen availability from your cells. But you want to know what Dr. Carrie Reams taught is the best treatment for somebody who's hungover and has too much alcohol in their system. Anybody want to guess? How about you remember those old movies, or like Mayberry? How many of you guys remember watching the Andy Griffith Show and what was his name? The town drunk. He would always come in and they'd pound all the coffee into him. Otis, I think it was. And and black coffee is actually one of the best things to help to neutralize alcohol and get alcohol out. But when Reams would have people drinking coffee, he just had them do. He called it Brazilian coffee. So where if you look at the coffee that we drink and what we make, it's literally black and dark, and you can look at it and it's like, oh my God, this is like molasses. And what he wanted was for people to drink something that was light that you could actually see through. And that Brazilian coffee, that little bit of caffeine that's in there helps to keep the sugars flushed. So those of us who tend to have higher sugars, something because your sugars are going to crash. Oh, my connection is being unstable. Let me see what's going on. I hope it just reconnected. I'm going to check my internet here and see what's going on. It looks like I'm good. So, but anyway, so any questions? I'm sitting here looking and, and looking here to see if any of you have any questions that are out there. And if there's anything that you would have me want to specifically answer. Those of you that are thumbs up, I prefer, if you guys can all thumb up and just let people know, hey, Doc's on. I appreciate that. I mean, if I'm going to do these shows and make them visible, that would be the way to go, is for everyone to hit that thumbs up button and share and say, hey, Doc's on. And we're going to try to, if we can't get together in 412, if we have difficulties with that, I'm going to try to jump on and just make the most of it. And you guys can see I can ad lib, but we can go with it at that. So the show was, yes, very much shadow banned. And so I don't think at this point shadow banning's happening to me. I think if we start reaching too many people, might start occurring. But in the meantime, let's get the word out, people. I want to start doing these. I have to have somebody to turn around and watch this live chat, because I turn around and I go over here and I can just, sit there and go, hi, and just go crazy because watching all this stuff. And it goes, in my mind, it's that dog to a squirrel. 97-year-old mom with a UTI problem. Oh, I'm sorry. That's an interesting thing, because you can see UTIs in elderly people cause dementia, and they could turn around and start walking down like, oh my God, mom's losing her mind. She can't think. She's putting the milk in the cupboard or whatever else. And they start showing these signs of dementia. And sometimes it can be as simple as a urinary tract infection. So urinary tract infections are boogers. One thing I would do, is D-mannose. D-mannose is a natural sugar. It does not get absorbed. It stays, or actually it gets absorbed 100%. It goes to the bladder, and it prevents particularly E. coli, which is the most common number to or the most common bacteria to cause urinary tract infections, and it prevents it from adhering. It prevents them from being able to adhere to the cell wall, and they turn around, and it'll help clear a UTI. The other thing is we'll turn around and do colloidal silver. And if you have somebody who is prone to getting sick on a regular basis, there's some things that you can take, and again, I go by the numbers. You can if you turn around and you run the numbers on somebody, and when you'll see a pH of 5.9 to 6.1 when you see a urinary tract infection, and what does that mean? That they're calcium and vitamin D deficient, that they're not utilizing their trace minerals, that they, and so we turn around and, we always talk about those trace minerals, giving either some humic or fulvic acid minerals or something like that, or doing, but when you see a direct have got a UTI and you want to get rid of it, get D-mannose and take about 500 to 1,000 milligrams 3 times a day, preferably on an empty stomach. Take some colloidal silver, do up to an ounce 3 times a day. I tell people to get their own colloidal silver generators, and people who are interested in those type of things, you can email my office, which is office@pittsburghalternativehealth.com. Again, that's office@pittsburghalternativehealth.com, and say colloidal silver generator, and we'll send you information on how to get those type of things. And just taking colloidal silver at consistently, if you're exposed to the workplace and people carrying around nasty bugs all the time, doing a shot glass before you go to work is amazing. And so there's so many things. Other times we'll mix herbals. I'll put, some echinacea, some uva ursi. I'd put possibly, usually I'll put something like horsetail in there, or pipsisseau called Chimophila, and use herbs that enhance the urinary tract infection. But when you're looking, if somebody comes into me and I identify a UTI, it's because I've run their numbers. I see the numbers, and then I turn around and let's work on the numbers, but then let's give you that type of support. How can we test our numbers, Nancy Ann? On my channel, you're going to see that there's a little whiteboard video, and it says how to, testing your numbers or running your numbers. It's 5 minutes long. It basically shows you step by step. If you want to learn to run your numbers, you have to have the right equipment. And so again, when people email the office, again, which is office@pittsburghalternativehealth.com, you turn around, and if you just put testing equipment, we'll send you all the information. Actually, no, on our website, pittsburghalternativehealth.com, we just recently added a tab that shows you all that you need to do. You can download everything on how to get the equipment and go from there. And find that, and then you can watch the video. A lot of people, we've had people come to the office, stay here for 2 to 3 days. We teach them how to test. We run their numbers. We do, 2 to 3 days of what type of services would best serve you. And they walk away 3 days later, like changed. Sky dance, intermittent fasting. If there's one thing that has been shown across the board for weight loss and just general health and those type of things, it's intermittent fasting. There's a lot of benefit to doing it. If you listen to what I teach, it's breakfast for a queen, lunch for a king, dinner for a pauper. How many paupers eat dinner? How many paupers get dinner? Oh my God, we're looking for stuff. And if you eat a large enough lunch, you'll find that that you typically aren't necessarily hungry at dinner time. And so that's definitely something that when you're looking at intermittent fasting, there's wonderful benefits to it. I've had clients who have done the intermittent fasting where they go on and they're fasting, these hours, and they alternate those hours. And typically it's about a 12-hour period that you're breaking down. It's just, in reality, most people eat way too many carbohydrates and just too much food. And when you start eating high quality food, you start noticing that you need less. And so that's just part of it. But fasting, Carrie Reams fasted everybody. You went to a retreat center, you're fasting. It was called a Reams fast. I won't even tell you how to do it, people start doing that, you can really get sick if you're not being monitored. So, but fasting is wonderfully healing. And so I do colon cleansing kits in fasting that way, where you're doing 5 days of a colon cleansing kit and you're just drinking apple juice for 5 days. And I have people drink some, at least probably a quarter more of lemonade each day to stabilize your sugars. The colloidal silver generator that we recommend. I got the colloidal silver generator you recommended, and even giving it to my horse that had an issue with limes. Colloidal silver is amazing. It is totally amazing. You turn around and, like I said, people, I'm going to get lost in this chat. Yeah, I should take a minute and read it and see what you guys are saying. Best way to go is to retreat and learn by all means. Yeah, thank you, Sunflower. The colloidal silver made in your office, take a shot glass. Yep. A shot glass is actually 2 ounces. If you fill it to the brim, half a shot glass is 1 ounce. I'm typically giving 1 ounce, maybe 3 to 4 times a day. If somebody's really, really sick, I've had up to 8 to 12 ounces in a day. If I feel like I'm coming down with the flu or something, I'll drink a half a cup at a time. And then I'll take some immune boosting herbs in combination with that. So Zoltan, says, hey, thyroid gone, doc reduced replacement hormone till I crash, blood tests give bad info. Felt like you described with low thyroid, paranoid, went to a different doc, increased hormone. So, if you've had your thyroid removed, man, that's harsh. You got to get on some aspect of thyroid. The best thing for you to do at this point is actually work with a compounding pharmacist and a doctor who will look at natural hormones that'll put both T3 and T4 in there. You need both. But when I'm looking at numbers, you probably are overweight. You probably have a potassium deficiency. I know you're not utilizing your minerals. I know you're not digesting as well as you should. You're typically going to see things slowing down. You're typically going to see auto intoxication. So correcting the numbers makes it easier for you to stabilize on your thyroid, as well as, saying, hey, do I need more or less? And so I've had multiple people. I've had people who've been on thyroid medication for years, and we start working with their numbers. And next thing you know, their heart's racing, and I'm like, you got to go to your medical doctor, run your TSH. And they're like, my TSH was 0.01. And they said, and they reduced my thyroid. I'm like, good. At least they reduced it and didn't tell you to stop everything that we're telling you to do. So I see that quite often, and so it's amazing if you want to love yourself and take care of yourself, people, learn to run these numbers. It's amazing. I see 25 people on. I see 16 thumbs up. Please keep hitting those thumbs up. Let's make this something reality. If you guys want me to start popping up and start doing shows after work or something for 10, 15 minutes, I'll do it. It seems that you guys are interested. Again, we'll answer your questions here. Linda, I don't have access to live blood. But how do I know what foods I'm intolerant to? I try to follow my blood type diet. That's basically, the blood type diet is a great way to start an elimination diet. Just turn around and eliminate the foods that it says don't eat for 4 weeks. It can be a little difficult initially. But then if you turn around and introduce those foods, one food every 5 days or so, you will find, oh, I eat this, I feel like crap. My skin breaks out. My digestive tract acts up, my headaches come on. You just try to, it's a great way. I test people electrodermally. If you look over here, there's I got to turn it, but I have a little device called EAV equipment. Electrodermal is measuring electrical activity at acupuncture points, which are all over the body, but we use the fingers. We find balanced electrical points, and then we introduce electrical frequencies associated with foods or chemicals or something of that sort into your circuitry. It's called electrodiagnostics, but it's illegal to diagnose. And so what we say is that if you electrically react or shorten out when I introduce a frequency into you, it's like a yes-no answer. Hey, don't eat this. And I find 85 and 90% reactivity. In all honesty, before I understood the stuff about running the numbers and doing these things, that built my practice. It's an amazing machine. You can pick up microbes, you can pick up environmental toxins, and if you're positive to these and it says that it electrically shorts you out, I got tired of sending people out for testing to prove that it was right, because it was right. I could tell stories of where we tested people to environmental toxins, and then they turn around and do blood tests and things and find them. So when people react to mercury and aluminum, the first question I ask is, how many fillings are in your teeth? If people react to dioxins and phthalates, as a chemical, I turn around and say, have you ever cooked and eaten food out of the microwave cooked in plastics? Are you drinking? Have you drank, from hot water out of plastic bottles? Are you using plastics for food storage? So you're trying to identify the why, what's going on. Why do you have the symptoms? Because when you see phthalates and dioxins, they're called endocrine disruptors. They basically mess with your immune system and your endocrine system, your thyroid. You see your thyroid, your hormones all go out of whack, and it's just something that that helps to guide the why. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? The numbers kind of tell where in the body, so, the number example that I gave you a little while ago, hey, what's going on the right side of your head? I had a stroke 3 months ago. I've seen that so many times. I had a lady just 2 days ago. I'm like, yeah, could you look like you could have a right shoulder issue? She's like, my right shoulder's been killing me for like months, and because the numbers tell where the most energy is being drawn from. And so it just kind of, it guides me, and it's easy to learn. Those of you who went, I think Sunflower I think I know who you are. And you went to a retreat, in Kashmir. And I'm trying, when we're at these retreats, I'm trying to help you to understand that sugar, that Brix value tells you oxygen carrying capacity. And love you, by the way. And it tells you oxygen carrying capacity, and oxygen carrying capacity tells you how well the blood is doing, and so that Brix value is telling you that picture of your blood. If you're not able to carry oxygen, your cells can't restore. You have to have oxygen for restorative aspects. When you're looking at those pHs, the urine pH tells the body how well the body is processing things. The saliva tells the liver and the digestive bile capacity. Is my liver working well enough? The conductivity tells salts and gives you fluid density. And so if your fluids are too thick, things can't get there. Agglutinating, it can't get where it needs to be, and it tells the aspects of nerves and smooth muscle. How well are these tubes in my body working? That cell debris tells me the kidneys. Are they getting rid of cells? Those nitrates tell me protein building. Am I breaking things down? So is my liver, my pancreas making adequate enzymes, or protein destruction? And am I breaking down cells and putrefying things in my digestive tract? What's the hell? What's going on in the digestive tract? And am I overgrowing microbes and bacteria? And those numbers kind of say, hey, you need this support, and just kind of gives that aspects, Red labels ask you about Minkal dosage. And Minkal, historically, Dr. Ream set up Minkal as 1 capsule for every 33 pounds of body weight. I don't find we need that much. I typically am giving somebody between, 1 with each meal. Just start there, get 1 with each meal. Women might need more. If you're more than 160 pounds, I would take 4. If you're more than 220 pounds, in some cases, I'll give you 6. But most of the time I'm giving 3 to 4 a day, 62 years, 185 pounds, 6 feet tall, good weight for a 6 foot person. But I probably, I'm assuming if you're a male, I just have you do 1 Minkal with each meal. And that would kind of give you that basis, but you got to watch pH. It's not, when people ask a dosage, it's not written in stone, because you look at your numbers will tell you if you're tolerating something, and that's how I do it. People, I look for analytical aspects. I test you electrically. I say, hey, you're reacting to these. I look at those numbers, and it says this is where things are going and this is what's not working. I look at the blood, like the picture behind me, and we look, is it moving? Is it clumpy? Are there too many eosinophils and signs of parasites? So we just kind of get that aspect an analytical picture that says, this is what I know, this is what you do, and let's remeasure, and if you have your own equipment, test it every 2 weeks, sunflower, I had another screening cell, had it removed, was going fast. Okay, so, when you're looking at those type of things, again, go by your numbers, sunflower, just try to keep that bricks and you got to get in that healing range and watch what's throwing you out. And once you figure out how to get there, it stays there, and if you're having problems, it's hard for me online to turn around and say specifically, where to go. And sometimes let's sit down and talk about, let's look at that pathway, those numbers, see what they've been showing and go from there. If you put up a set of numbers, I'll talk about them, is Celtic sea salt has 70 plus minerals in it. Why is it different than Morningstar's fulvic minerals, and why not add a tiny amount to distilled water? Morningstar mineral, those fulvic minerals, it's the availability of how humic minerals make themselves available, and they're in such trace amounts that they're parts per million. They're not in measurable amounts. So like if you look at Celtic sea salt, you could easily get over 100 milligrams of magnesium with a like a quarter teaspoon of salt. And so when you're looking at those fulvic and those humic minerals, they're on parts per million. They're trace, they're colloidal. And colloidal means that they're in a solution and they're readily exchanged. And so they work really well without, they don't drive up that conductivity. So if you just go and you take some humic minerals or fulvic minerals, check your sugar to salt ratio, and you'll see that they don't drive it up. And then when people have a low sugar to salt ratio where they're not able to accept their minerals, like this lady that I showed you here, poor bio quality, and their conductivity is low in relation. So 4.9 to 18, that's less than a 1-to-4 ratio. She's not getting enough minerals. Those fulvic minerals and those humic minerals work really well for that. And it just, in Celtic, it's just, that sea salt just is so irritating. It causes too much conductivity, and you can watch it in the numbers. Believe me, I had a hard time with it myself. Profit Bear, I like that. I have a proposal to create a retreat here in Michigan. I would like to get a hold of you. What's the best point of contact for this subject? Just email my office and say retreat site. Office at pittsburghalternativehealth.com. If you just email the office and tell me what you got planned, and how, the biggest issue that we have is having the equipment for cooking, and we'd have to have enough people to be able to support, because every retreat that I've had, people, I lose money. Bottom line, my business shuts down for 3 days. The loss of income from my business is nothing compared to what, when we do the retreats and the expenses of doing the retreats. I've been trying to make the retreats affordable and making them affordable for people. When you look at the aspects of buying all organic food that we serve, and paying for to have a place to run the retreat, those expenses add up. And so overall on a retreat, where we were hoping to clear, $10,000, I think the most we've made on a retreat is like $3,500. And that's why you don't have a website for the coalition. So we want to get that coalition to be able to bridge all this thing together and get all this stuff done. It's time and money, people. I see where, I see this future where we can have retreats that you can have retreats where you're just trained appropriately to do it. And I would just turn around and just encourage you to continually and stay involved with that. So yeah, just email Profit Bear. Just email my office and say and put in the subject line retreat site, and then I'll get in contact with you. Linda, Vitalometry is responsible for getting rid of the wart on my finger that's been there for at least 15 years. I've been taking Vitalometry for over a year. For those of you who don't know Vitalometry, there's 27 of you out there. Again, thanks for the thumbs up. If all of you keep giving thumbs up, I appreciate it. It just lets people know that we're out there. Vitalometry is that product that this weird guy right there kind of created, and and in all honesty, vitalometry is a godsend. It was something that came to me where I learned about telomere science, and then I looked at telomere science and like, wow, there's all these natural products that affect telomeres and telomerase. And so I turned around and started mixing. I compounding pharmacy background, so I started mixing herbs and I started adding. I put them in specific ratios, and if those of you who understand numbers, you might figure out ratios in some capacity of, what we try to figure out on how to do it. And so energetically, I did it, and I added the minerals and lemon for dispersion, and minerals as everything. Calcium is the regulator of all minerals, people. If whether it's a good mineral or a bad mineral, if your cells have enough calcium, it turns around and makes the good minerals available when you're building cells, and it makes the bad minerals not be available for the development of that cell. So calcium is so vital, and that's why we have everybody take Mencol. Whether it be one a day. If you're, my mom, I only have her take 2 a day. She's 85 years old. Because I've run her numbers, and she's been taking it now for 4 years. But vitalometry came about just a godsend of something that helps with energy, focus, and I just see these wonderful stories. We've had people growing their hair back. We've had people say my hair is getting dark again. Well, mine hasn't. It stays a little white. Definitely gives me some energy. I popped 4 of them right before the show. That's why I'm hey, I also had this coffee here today. But vitalometry, people, is just something of a supplement that turns around and adds an aspects of immune stimulation. You have all that astragalus in there. So if you look at people on Lyme protocols, it says take about 3 grams of astragalus a day. And so if you're taking at least 6 vitalometry a day, you'll get that. I personally take 8. I take 4 in the morning, and I'll take 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Most people take 4 to make a bottle last a month. If you want to learn more, you can go to vitalometry.com, VITELOMETRY. That's vitalometry.com. For those of you tuning in my first live show, I'll go and I'll create a code today, and I'll say Doc Misak, DOCMISAK. You got to give me 15 minutes after the show to go on and create it, and I'll give you guys 15% off if you want to try a bottle. It's amazing. It keeps me going. It doesn't keep me awake. Last night when I was leaving at 6 o'clock, I popped 4 of them. Then it gives you that aspects of get up and go. So we have some comments here of. So getting rid of your wart here, taking 4 vitalometry pills a day has reduced tingling in my feet, and no more tingling in my hands, because it has someone's asking about matcha green tea, and there's green tea. There's actually green tea in that, because green tea's loaded with polyphenols and antioxidant. So when you go and look up other anti-aging, telomere based products, they're just potent antioxidants, And yes, antioxidant behavior does protect your cells. But, if you look at how I formulated vitalometry with resveratrol from the for immune activity, from using elderberry in there, and I put cynomorium, which is a sexual, vitality tonic, get up and go type thing. It's a yang tonic in Chinese medicine. I've got purslane in there. Purslane is, that weed that's in your yard that grows in the dry, everywhere. Like you keep pulling it up, it kind of grows like a vine, little leaves coming out. Purslane is the richest source of essential fatty acids, of omega-3 fats. So I always let 1 grow in my garden, 1 or 2 somewhere. And when I'm pulling my lettuce, I'll throw a few, sprigs of purslane in there and put them in my salad, because it's just loaded with essential fats. Wonderful for doing it. My wife gave her doctor info about vitalometry in the office. Thank you. How many per day on average of vitalometry? Again, most people take 2 twice a day, 2 in the morning, or 4 all at once to make a bottle last a month. If you can afford it, and you could take 8, or even I formulated it, you could take up to 12. I have on days, where I get no sleep and whatever, I'll take up to 12 in a day. And you won't get any excess of any one of those type of things. So, but it's a pick me up. It helps with immune activity. It helps with the liver support. So the best advocate for vitalometry is my dog. The poor girl is almost 15 years old. She's almost a 15-year-old lab. At Christmas time, she'll be 15. She's had some tumors on her hip. She had a tumor on her ear once. She gets them growing off of her eye. Started giving her vitalometry. The one on her eye disappeared. Her ability, I mix it with collagen for her. And I can't put the purslane in the dog, so I do a special mix for her. And my 14 and a half, almost 15-year-old lab is get up, go, makes it up the steps. It's probably my best testimony, just looking at what it's done for my dog. And then I get all the comments like what people are saying here. I've had people say improvements with Alzheimer's. I've had people say improvements with Parkinson's. I've had people say their hair grows back. I can't make any of those claims. I can't substantiate any of those claims or say that it's doing any of those. I have multiple people just say the energy is just amazing. I have had people say chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia go away. It's so, and I tell people, they say, how many to take? And the typical is 4 a day. But what you find is you find your dose. I find people who only need 2 a day. I find people who take 8 a day, and that's what does it for them. It's kind of meets you where you are. And I, like I said, go to, if you go to vitalometry.com, vitalometry.com. If you wait till 15 minutes after this show, I'll put a code in there, Doc Misak, DOCMISAK, and you guys can get 15% off based on watching my show today. I appreciate the thumbs up with all of you. What else have we got out there? I mean, we're closing in on an hour, so I'm going to be going off here soon. Been on vitalometry for 10 months. Notice a difference. Thank you. How many people hit the healing range in the numbers on a consistent basis? And what is the typical range for people who go by the number? So when we do it, when you go and you learn through me, and I've done these shows, and you go back and the specific show you're asking about right there is the one where Betty Reams comes on, and we talk about ranges. And there's range A, B, C, D, and E. And range A is the ideal range. You're running, 95 to 100% energy efficient. As you move away, range E is 4 to 15% energy efficient. So range B is about 75 to 80. C is about 50 to 75. D is somewhere between 20 and 50%. And you take your numbers and you go across the board, and whichever number is the furthest away from ideal and whatever range that puts you in, that's what range you're in. And getting people in the healing range is not that difficult. You just got it, but it does take persistence, and it does take, discipline. You start watching your numbers, and I saw Sunflower, I'm sure you can comment to this, is you start watching your numbers and then you cheat. You're human. Welcome to humanity, right? And you eat something that you shouldn't. Well, dang, now I'm 3 to 5 more days before I'm going to get my numbers back into that healing range. You can do okay. Your bowels will still move. You'll still feel okay. You don't feel horrible, but you'll find that I'm not totally in that healing range. And so no way, I never cheat. Well, good. I know I do, But, when you find that, if you watch your numbers and you learn your patterns, you turn around and you learn you. You learn to love you. You learn to understand you. You learn to see in those numbers, where my weakness is. You learn to see in your numbers, hey, my liver's not working. What do I need to do? I'm going to try milk thistle. That didn't do anything. I'm going to try burdock. Didn't do. Oh, I'm going to try Schisandra. Oh my, it's lowering. I'm going to do a gallbladder flush. Oh, it really fixed it. So we turn around and if your liver's not happy and that pH of that saliva, by the way, sunflower is above 6.7, do a liver gallbladder flush. If you don't have it, email me and let me know. We turn around and the liver is the organ that has to take all the stress, people. The liver is the organ that processes it all. And these are all things that I want to be able to, go over with you guys. So let me see before these things roll off. When I run out, love this stuff, doctor. I'm not so smart, people. I just go by what other people have done. If you look at all the stuff that I'm teaching you, it's other people's work. I just fixed it to how it all associates together, and how running these numbers explain what's working and what's not. So when you're looking at going from a naturopathic medicine and naturopathic medical school, what they do is they teach us to be naturopathic medical doctors. How to look at chemistry and diagnose and treat using natural therapies. And I found that I could help people, but it wasn't curative. I learned about Dr. Carrie Reams, and I'm watching miracles, people. And what I found is that RBTI and running these numbers tells me what works. So if you find that certain things make you feel better, you can turn around and run the numbers and see that this is really good for me. I could turn around and eat maple syrup and show you my numbers and be like, oh, I shouldn't eat that stuff. But dang, Trader Joe's just came out with their seasonal maple syrup butter. Oh my God, I love it. Boom, I crash, so I have to turn around and I'm snacking after I eat it, because otherwise I won't be able to stay awake with my clients, because I know that pattern with me. And so, if you watch these numbers, and it doesn't mean run a full set of numbers every day, you can turn around and you can run your refractometer and your pH meter, and preferably your conductivity meter. If you run that first 4 set of numbers, it's 1 minute, 2 minutes, squirt pee in those 2 meters, rinse and spit in one. You got those first 4 numbers. You understand whether you're hydrating. You understand whether you're drinking enough. You understand whether you're eating the right foods. You understand whether you're taking the right minerals and the right vitamins. It's so quick and easy. Those first 4 numbers, 2 minutes, people. The problem is running those nitrates takes about 5 minutes to wait for it. And while I'm waiting for those, I clean up everything. So I'm going to turn around and I have people run the full set of numbers about every 2 weeks, because once you change something in the diet, it takes 7 to 10 days to see that to be a consistency in your change. So we're going to go back. We're going to do all this. What I'd encourage you is again, throw that thumbs up, spread my channel around. I'm going to try to start doing some of these shows if we're having some issues with shadow banning and things with 412. And let's develop this channel and let's make it happen. So I'm going to go through these last aspect of questions. Thank you so much. You are so welcome. It's truly my pleasure. I really think that people need to know this. I mean, for when I learned all the things that I've learned in natural medicine, and I've seen what I've seen, it to me is criminal that people are not made this as free available information. And that's what we really want to do. Great show. Thank you, people. Thank you. From Charlie. Hey, thank you. Now I know who you are. Why not? Cool. And so, people, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to tune off for the day. Again, if you turn around and you share these shows, and everybody hit that thumbs up before you walk out the door. That kind of helps. It spreads. It gives a little bit of credibility to the channel. I've never developed a channel. I'm going to look at how to bring some videos. I even have some new material that I want to share with you guys. And let's do this. Let's make it something. If I start popping on in the afternoons, I will announce those type of things, because Wednesday afternoon I would have available. I even have available, Thursday or Friday mornings on sometimes. So I might look at doing little 15-minute segments that say, hey, let's talk about adrenals. Hey, let's talk about the kidneys. Hey, let's talk about things that you can do. And so let's make this all happen. So I want to thank you all for tuning in today. God bless you. Thanks for tuning in. The chat has been great. I went into this today saying, what the hell am I doing on this show? And what am I going to say? I see one person thumbs up. Hi, how you doing? I see we're closing out with almost 30, and I just appreciate all of you. So until next week, or just keep an eye out. If I do this, I'll probably make an email. If you guys are not on my email list, what I would tell you again, office@pittsburghalternativehealth.com. If you have a specific question, please put it in the line. If you go to my website, pittsburghalternativehealth.com, there's a place where you can sign up for our email list. If you want to know when things are going on, get on that email list. And for those of you today who have not learned about vitalometry, I'm going to put a 15% code, DOC Misak, DOC-MISAK. I'm going to end this show and I'll put that on. And if you guys want to try that out, you can do it. So set the YouTube reminder button for this channel. Yeah, please do. You know, if you guys set the reminder, and then that way it'll be notified of when I go on. I don't know if I set it. I'll figure all that stuff out. Until then, hey, God bless you all. Take care, and thanks. Thanks again for tuning in.